Um, to start this topic of today, I want to say that in addition to good nutrition being an important part of general health for everybody, for people who are planning to conceive, people who are hoping to have children, it's an even more important factor to take into account because of the things that I mentioned. We have got food additives, we've got environmental pollutants, we have got all these things that could actually be playing a role in our health and the health of the future children we expect to have. So it is important that we actually think of this from before conception. So when I was talking about and thinking about children's nutrition, I'm thinking of children right from conception and even before, about the parents who are either prospective parents or parents who are looking forward already as expectant mom and dad. So on the part of expectant moms, their nutrition needs to cater for their own personal needs as well as the needs of the growing baby that they are carrying. And already this is another important thing to take into account because there are certain lifestyle pointers that I would like to pick on. So for expectant moms, we need to think about things like resolving or minimizing stress, because you know that a woman's body is, especially the reproductive side, is very much influenced by hormones, and stress itself affects the balance of hormones. So if a woman who either wants to fall pregnant or is already pregnant is under great stress, it is important that she takes into account the importance of either resolving the stressing factors or minimizing them where they cannot be eliminated altogether. And this is in order for her to have a good hormonal balance to either become pregnant or sustain the pregnancy to full term. Excuse me. Then, as much as possible, we also encourage expectant moms to be in the habit of choosing healthy, wholesome foods, because, as I've said, there are many chemical additives that are added to our the foods that we find that are processed and prepackaged for us. So, as far as possible, to choose wholesome, healthy foods, minimally processed foods, in other words. I know that when ladies are expecting, sometimes there are such factors as nausea and food preferences or things that they find quite off-putting. But as far as possible, unhealthy habits like the drinking of fizzy drinks and sodas and so on should be kept at a minimum, because not only are they unhealthy, but they also might be affecting the baby, and they may also make the health of the mother after giving birth compromised. So that is quite important. Then eliminating or avoiding any known environmental toxins or other toxins. So things like tobacco smokes, the taking in of alcohol and other recreational drugs. These are things that expectant moms should actually be careful of and eliminate as far as they can. Then on the side of Neolife supplements that support expectant moms, the first I have here is multimineral alfalfa, which is a mix of mineral supplements, which is going to help her own skeleton and other tissues. So multimineral, very important for expectant moms. Then we have vitamin B complex, another one very important. You remember that I think 2 weeks ago, Connie talked to us about vitamin B. And in the case of expectant moms, is a very important supplement to take. So because it is involved in many things, and this includes the development of the baby's brain as well as the spinal cord. And it also helps in avoidance of birth defects in the babies. So B complex, another must for expectant moms. And then we also add their Provitality, which, as most of us will know, comprises of omega-3 salmon oil, carotenoid complex, threonine, and multi. So omega-3 salmon oil will play an important role in the development of the brain and the eyes. And then carotenoid complex helps in, of course, the development of the immune system and also the development of vision. So This also is important for the functioning of the eyes, and carotenoid also helps to prevent premature uterine contractions, which can cause the mom either some discomfort or for her to have false labor. Then N we know is our cellular nutrition supplement, the baseline of everything. So it is also crucial here, and it helps in overall cell development for the baby, and also in giving the body the raw materials for the making of hormones. And remember, the whole process of pregnancy has got a very crucial hormonal component to it. So N plays a role there. Multi, of course, is going to give supplementations for a wide variety of micro supplements that the body will benefit from. Then last in the list is aloe vera plus, which will help, especially in some cases for some people with nausea. So aloe vera plus can be very useful with nausea and as a tonic. So the expectant moms can try this if they are struggling with, what is it? With nausea. Then after that stage of expectant moms, the next stage is, of course, breastfeeding. And I think if you have joined us before in other trainings, you know that we highly recommend breastfeeding, because breast milk is not only the perfect food for the baby, but it also carries many physiological and emotional instructions from the mother to the child. So there's a lot of benefit for the child in breastfeeding and breast milk, including things like the development of the immune system of the baby and general health and perfect nutrition. So breast milk is to be preferred of all the early childhood food. So for moms who are breastfeeding, we recommend that they be in the habit of drinking plenty of clean water. Also, in addition to that, if they have this in their culture, bone broth. In many of our cultures, there are different types of broths that are made for breastfeeding and moms who have just had a baby. There'll be things like bone broth, fish broth, and so on. These are very nutritious and support the making of milk by the mom. Then, of course, things like soups. So the broth can be drunk as a broth, or it can also be incorporated in soups for the mom to get in her diet. Then breastfeeding has another advantage for the mom, and this is that it helps to return to a healthy pre-pregnancy body weight. And this is by helping to shrink the uterus. As the baby is breastfeeding, the uterus actually shrinks, and this helps the mother's abdomen to go back to its normal size. So as you can see, I cannot recommend the practice of breastfeeding enough. It is a very, very important thing to do. I know that sometimes some moms might struggle with establishing breastfeeding, but I also know there is a lot of support in our communities for older ladies or nurses or midwives who can actually help new moms to establish breastfeeding if they are struggling. This, of course, includes extended family members like grannies who can help the new moms, young moms, to actually establish breastfeeding, because it is very important. If it is something you don't yet have in your community, then I would recommend that you actually get it started and try to contribute to it, because it is really a very important thing. Then in the supplements that support the breastfeeding mom, we'll still go with multimineral alfalfa, because the mom will still be requiring that range of mineral supplements for herself and for the production of good quality milk for the baby. And what we actually have noticed over the years is that if the breastfeeding mom is not taking the multimineral supplement, she can start having dental problems. And she may not realize that the dental problems is actually linked to the fact that the body is now pulling calcium and other minerals from her skeleton, including her teeth. And this could be why she actually starts having dental problems. So very important to recommend this to expectant and breastfeeding moms and moms who have recently given birth because remember the process of giving birth also involves some blood loss. So very important that we have multimineral there. Then I would also recommend their Neolife shake because they will need that good quality protein supplementation that the Neolife shake provides. Of course, also from their diet, good quality proteins from good meats, non-processed meats will be important. As I've said before, soups made from bones and so on will all support this. Provitality is still continued with in the breastfeeding mom because it will be providing those 4 supplements that will continue to support both the mom and the baby in this stage of breastfeeding. Then now we move on to the baby by themselves because so far we've been speaking about the baby and the mom together as single units. But now if we look at toddlers and early childhood, that is 2 years plus, the first thing I want to recommend on the lifestyle side is to delay the introduction of sugary and sweetened foods or drinks for the baby, as well as refined carbohydrates. This should not form the first foods of the baby. I know in many of our cultures, we have different types of porridges that we use as the first foods to supplement the breast milk. And this is a good thing. So things like millets and other grains, millets and sorghums and so on, which are finely ground and mixed maybe with different cultures have different mixtures that they add there. But these are good, but much better than any of the refined tinned food that you find already manufactured for you. It would be better as far as possible to opt for these cultural porridges and grains that we have over the years inherited that practice from our parents and grandparents and so on. There are also certain fruits that are soft, like avocados and bananas and so on, that can be a good option as fast food for the initial food that is used to supplement breastfeeding. So look at that. But as I've said, opt for less sweet things. So no adding food sugar to these foods because, as we know, sugar is a very powerful flavor. And once the baby is used to very sweet milk or very sweet foods, all other foods begin to become tasteless. And that means that this can become a habit that is very hard to break later in life, on top of which it can have some significant problems with the baby's developing teeth. So rather than opt for those food, let's opt for no sugar, no additional sugar to food, and no sweetened foods or drinks. And hyperpalatable foods also are a problem. So hyperpalatable foods are those foods which are chemically manufactured and flavored so that they are very appreciated. The problem with them is that they make the baby very focused on a small range of flavors, so that if we offer them any other natural foods, they reject it because they're already used to this highly targeted type of flavor that appeals to the child's palate. So better to opt as the baby develops age 2 and above, opt for things like bone broth, soups, mashed fruits, and so on, which are naturally flavored or are wholesome in their nature. They are not processed. From the Neolife side, of course, for infants, our main supplement is Liquivite, which contains a wide range of supplements in syrup form that can be added to the baby's food or can be given through a spoon or a syringe, depending on what you would prefer to use. And then we can also add Neolife Shake for babies, here especially for babies who, let's say, for one reason or another, are not able to breastfeed or they have lost their mom, so they are not, the whole question of breastfeeding becomes impossible. So their Neolife Shake can be added as one of the early foods. And of course, if a baby is also struggling with feeding, maybe they do not like many kinds of food, if they are able to use Neolife Shake, it is a good option for them because it provides them with the full range of amino acids that they need for their tissue development. So those are the two for infants. As we go into late childhood, this is thinking about from age 3 to 7 thereabouts. It is a good plan to teach the children to eat mainly during meals and to avoid continuous snacking, because this can also be a habit that we help the children to develop by giving them food whenever they ask for it. And then they become in the habit of continuously eating this and that. When it comes to actual meal times, it finds them already too full from all the little bits here and there that they've been eating. So rather to have a practice of helping them to eat during meals, and then maybe just have two or so snacks to take them. If maybe the period from one meal to another is rather long, we can then have a healthy snack like pieces of fruit and so on. But they can develop this habit of giving children pieces of sweets, a bit of packaged biscuits here and there. And then when it comes to mealtime, the child does not want to eat. And then we say the child has a poor appetite. No, the child does not have a poor appetite. What has happened is that the appetite has been wasted on all these non-nutritious foods. And now when it comes to the meal that the child would have benefited from nutritionally, they now are already not hungry enough to eat it. So another lifestyle habit to think about there. Then we help the children also to develop a taste for natural foods by avoiding junk food. I know that there's a lot of aggressive advertisement to encourage us to feed our children all kinds of processed things and this and that, which are always recommended as being convenient and easy to transport and easy to give and so on. But remember, the easy path we take at this stage will come back to hound us when we are dealing with dental problems, we are dealing with childhood obesity, we are dealing with childhood diabetes and all these problems that are linked to this junk type of foods that we have available for us. So we rather should, as parents and adjacent to parents, should try our best to encourage the development of a taste for natural foods in children. Then it is also important to help the children to by avoiding the hyperpalatable food. As I said, hyperpalatable foods are made in a laboratory, and they are made specifically to be very tasty. And what happens is that all other food starts to taste unappetizing. So that's goes for children at this age group. And in addition to that, from Neolife, we continue with the Neolife Shake for protein supplementation. Remember, in this age group of 2 to 7, the children are growing very fast. So the Neolife Shake can be an important contribution there. Of course, it supplements the proteins that we are supplying in the diet. So if a child maybe has difficulty eating meat because they are children who actually dislike meat, or something like that, then we can try different types of meat. Maybe fish might be more palatable for them. Or if we find that it is a struggle, then that is where Neolife Shake can actually be an important supplement to ensure that the child gets enough protein in their diet. Then we also continue with omega-3 salmon oil, because at this stage, the children might still need the omega-3 salmon oil. And in some cases, the children can struggle to swallow the large capsule. So then we would opt for the smaller capsule, which might be easier for the little child to take. If they are still struggling with this, in some cases, we may have to open the capsule and put the omega-3 contents into their drink just to make it. It's not very easy to take because it smells very fishy. But yeah, we can try that. But more importantly, to just notice that the omega-3 salmon oil comes in two capsule sizes. There's the big one, and then we have the small one, which is more suitable for small children of the age group that I'm speaking about. Then in addition to that, we have Vital Squares, also a very important baseline supplement for small children. It is chewable and flavored with fruit sugars, which means here that the sugar there is made from fruit, and therefore we do not have to worry about it. And in addition to Vita Squares, we can also add VitaGuard, which is very useful for the development of the immunity, because the VitaGuard is made from the same carotenoids, flavonoids, and so on. So those are the ones we recommend for children in that age group. Then now we are moving on to older children of about 8, 9, 10, 11. These are the preteens. Here, this age group, it's very important for us to make them very conversant with the food group, so that they do not simply see food as food that is tasty and food that is not tasty. They need to understand the importance of the broad range of foods that we recommend for them to eat, and the different roles that they play in the health of the human body. So we also need to inform them and teach them about the problems that junk food poses, especially if they become very problematic, demanding to eat packaged and processed foods, because of course these are usually seen as a treat and preferable, but we as parents should actually make an effort to not make this a normal part of their diet. It is not a good thing for the health of the growing children. So we should help them with information, not just ordering them, but informing them so that they know why it is that they should avoid certain foods and why certain other foods are preferable. So at this age group, we can already start using Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus, which is a good baseline supplement. Remember, Formula 4 Plus has got multi and a threonine, or we can use the regular Formula 4, which is one capsule that contains all of those. And then we also would want to, in some cases, we can also recommend Neolife Shake to supplement them with good quality proteins. This is especially important for children who are growing very fast, going through a growth spurt, children who are involved in a lot of sports activities. So we may want to recommend the supplementation with the Neolife Shake for them. Then we continue still at this age group with omega-3 salmon oil for brain and blood health. Then at this age also, we recommend the use of multimineral, especially for young girls who are approaching puberty, because as they start having their menstrual cycles, they may we may find that they become anemic because they do not have the iron and other minerals that are required. So multimineral starts to be important here. Also for boys in this age group, because they are growing very fast, and boys, remember, will develop a bigger skeleton, so they may need multimineral alfalfa also as a supplement for the preteens. Then the final group for the children is the age group of the teens. So the teenagers, here we are looking at everything 12, 13 and going on. So at this stage, we are continuing educating them about healthy food choices, and also helping them to learn how to prepare simple meals. For example, during the holidays, it would be a good practice to help them to learn how to prepare their own meals. And the reason why this is important is that every human being eats, and it is important for every human being by the time they're reaching adolescence to be able to prepare their own food, especially given how the foods that are prepared for us out there, that we find already prepackaged or we buy as fast foods. These foods have got a lot of health problems linked to them. And the best way to mitigate against them is to help our children to know how to prepare their own food that is tasty and healthy. So adolescence is a good period to start learning how to prepare their own meals, and this can be a useful activity during the holidays for parents and children to participate in. It's beneficial all around. Also, as the children are moving into adolescence, they need to start taking ownership of their habits. Remember, we said we want to raise children who are self-governing, so they need to actually start taking ownership of their own habits. And remember, some of these problems that are associated with teenage, for example, acne, can actually be rooted in eating unhealthy things. This, remember, we said that the skin on the surface of the body is continuous with the skin in the digestive tract, which means that if something is problematic on the inside, it will be apparent on the outside. And for example, the facial skin can start having rashes and breakouts because the food that is being ingested disagrees with the body. Okay, it's very hot today. I believe it's also hot in Nairobi and Kenya and other places. In Pretoria, it is very, very hot today, Canada. So, well, just to go on there. So, we also need to explain what role supplementation plays in their life. So we may need to tell them why it is that we are recommending this or that supplement and how it is going to help. And what we recommend for the teens is continuing with what we had in the pre-teens, that is Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus. And then multimineral continues here as well as Neolife Shake. And so here in the teens, I very much recommend not just providing them with the foodstuffs, but also encouraging them with learning about preparing food, learning about the importance of different foods, and learning about the importance of supplementation. So, for example, girls will need to know why they need to take multimineral alfalfa. At one point, I wanted to add there in maybe in this age group, I've noticed that amongst teenagers, the practice of being vegetarian is becoming more and more common. And just to mention that if your child does not like meat or take meat, then it makes it even more important to supplement with vitamin B complex, because many vegetarian diets tend to be low in members of the B complex family. So for the health of you, actually are tending towards vegetarianism, make it a point to actually add vitamin B complex to them, to their diets, because they actually will be needing it for their adequate nutrition. Then just to take maybe 1 or 2 extra moments, I wanted to speak a little bit about acne, because this is a common teenage problem, and I every so often get questions about acne and other skin problems. So acne is an inflammation of the skin that is driven by inflammation actually of the sebaceous glands. These are the glands that are in our skin that grow either hair or produce the oil that naturally occurs on our skin. So they can become inflamed, as I said, due to various causes, including poor gut health. And poor gut health is often related to a bad diet that is poor in the natural foods that support the life of the friendly microbes. So there is that. And then, of course, in adolescence, there are the hormonal changes that we see as the puberty sets up. This can also, the hormonal balance that is upset at that time can result in skin inflammation that leads to acne. We also have young people who might listen to ads which recommend certain very harsh cleansers. And these harsh cleansers are supposed to help them with the acne. Instead, what it does is irritate the skin and cause the skin to be further inflamed and make the sebaceous glands even more aggressive in producing oil. So they try to fight against the oiliness of the skin using harsh cleansers. And instead of reducing the oiliness, it actually increases the oiliness, because the sebaceous glands, when they are inflamed and irritated, become overactive. So for that reason, the young people who are struggling with acne is one more reason for them to follow a diet of wholesome, healthy foods and eliminate junk foods, especially sugar and refined carbohydrates. From the Neolife side, we can recommend for them to use the gentle makeup remover in the evening, because this helps to clean the skin, but it's very gentle, so it will not irritate the sebaceous glands. And then we also recommend aloe vera gel that helps to soothe the inflammation of the skin. We can also add to those two chelated zinc, which helps with skin issues, as well as vitamin A plus D. So I see that I've already taken a few extra minutes. I thought I would add that because it's a question that is often linked with the teenage nutrition and skin problems. And now I want to just conclude by thank you very much for the time we have had together. I hope that you have found the session useful and that you will take it upon yourself to pass on any useful information to your clients, to your family members, your friends, and any people within your circle of influence, so that we help our young people to have a good foundation of good health in terms of their diet and supplementation, so that further down the line, we find that they will not have some of the struggles that we see are becoming more and more common as a result of sometimes lack of information and of course, also sometimes from lack of choice. But as far as possible, let us always share any useful information that we get so as to have a positive influence in the lives of the people we meet. So here on, let me hand you over to Pascal, who is ready to take you through the business session for today. I want to thank you